Today we're going to be going over performances for the Rogue Invitational. Last video I did a bit of a prediction. Yeah, we're going to see how I did, how far off I was. So event 1, as soon as I seen the setup, I was happy with my prediction that Novikov was going to do pretty well here because he's a great puller from this height. I did predict that Mitch Hooper was probably going to win, and I thought Novikov and Kearney were going to do pretty well in this as well, even though they might not be the favourites in a normal deadlift event. A lot of you said I was mistaken and I'm an idiot and I should have said that Pavlo was going to win. And I mentioned that Pavlo's an amazing deadlifter, but the thing that a lot of you don't understand is that the 18-inch deadlift and the deadlift from the floor are completely different lifts. They really are. And just because you're good from the floor doesn't mean you're good from height. But the reason why I didn't think he was good, well, I didn't think he was going to win. It was just I didn't know, because I've never seen him pull from 18 inches before. He's a tall guy. Sometimes that can be a lot worse than his floor pull. Now that I've seen him, I know he's a savage at it. But at the time, it was an unknown. So first up, we got Novikov. As you can see, Novi's position is pretty perfect when he's going through this. So if we pause here just above the knee, you can see that Novi's got his shoulders in line with the bar. He's not over the bar. It keeps the lockout, it keeps it accelerating to lockout. The hardest part of an 18-inch deadlift is getting it moving. If you get it moving and over the knee, you tend to be able to finish it. So this is why I say Novi is a bit better at this event than deadlift from the floor, because the bar is pretty much at his kneecap, and as he takes the flex, it pretty much goes over his knee from just taking the flex. So it's a very, very, very strong position. Martins here has a little bit of a different technique. He's standing a little bit wider and he's pushing his knees out and he's taking a bit of a wider grip. This is obviously giving him a bit of a mechanical advantage over the position. I don't know if he stands in that stance when he deadlifts. He might actually deadlift in that stance. He does have his knees pushed out quite far. Either way, this is a pretty advantageous position for the 18-inch deadlift. Next up, we're going to show Mitch Hooper. I know a lot of you in the comment section, oh, Pavlo's well better than Mitchell. Pavlo's well better than Mitchell. And because you're all fucking pissing me off, little grease bags, I was praying that he beat him in this event, just so I could go on to comments and be like, you little fucking bitch. Oh, shit. Turns out you were right. In my opinion, this is probably a similar strength for him from the floor, I would say. He's obviously getting something out of it, but I don't think he's much stronger at this height than from the floor, because you can see Mitchell's lockout seems to be the weak link, so to speak. So the 18-inch deadlift's just kind of like exposing that a little bit. This is why you say when people deadlift from height, you never know if they're going to be similar-ish from the floor, better, worse, whatever. You just really never know until you see them perform. But when you've got a deadlift like Mitch, even if you're down a touch, you're still a fucking savage bastard. So he failed the 9th. Interesting. Yeah, that goes to show, if it was deadlift from the floor, you would have picked Mitchell over Novikov, wouldn't you? Whereas 18-inch, I must be remembering that wrong. I thought he got 10. Maybe it was Trey that got 10. No, it was Trey that got 10. I tell you what, I have learned to put some respect on Trey's name. I don't know what it was. Even though he won the Shore Classic as well, I didn't, it's probably because I didn't watch too much of the Shore Classic, so I didn't actually see his overall performance in its fullest. I saw little bits of it. Now that I've watched him compete at this full show, I'm putting some respect on Trey's name. So I do apologise, Mr. Trey, for not even considering you within my predictions, but I'll be honest with you, you earned my respect, even though that is worthless to you and you don't give a shit. And then Pavlo over here, like we know, all the Pavlo fanboys in the comment section probably loved it and creamed the pants when he pulled 12 reps. Amazing deadlifter. He's an absolute savage. If anyone's going to break the world deadlift record, I think it's going to be this man, to be honest, because yeah, his pull from the floor is just incredible. Definitely has some weak links though in his strongman game that he needs to work on. We're on to the dumbbell now. So Bobby Thompson, Hooper over here. Hooper struggling with this dumbbell. Maybe it's because Hooper's quite new to the sport, obviously. I think I mentioned in one of his training videos that the dumbbells are different. The SEER dumbbell is different. It's a slightly different rack position. And dumbbell, it's like make or break in the rack. If you don't have that subtle skill to slightly adjust your rack position to meet the needs of the dumbbell, then yeah, you're going to struggle when you go to competitions that have a slightly different dumbbell. So as he dips, that dumbbell, the load is too far through his left leg, as in under the leg that's underneath the dumbbell. You need to load the opposite leg more. He usually does that, but I think that the rack position didn't feel as stable, so maybe he leant the other way to try and get his hip under to gain more stability. That's just a guess, I don't fucking know. But something was going on here with the rack. Whenever you look at a dumbbell, 99.9% of the time, if there's something going wrong, e.g. it's going to the side, it's falling off the rack position or whatever, it's because the rack position itself is wrong. And yeah, you've always got to adjust the rack. Always go back to rack. Back to rack. So we've got Lissis here now. Lissis got a bit of a gift, didn't he? Look at this for a rep. A gift from God. Because this should not have been given. In fact, I don't even know how it got given, because he didn't even lock it, but is what it is. Novi getting that 285 overhead. Absolute savage. These two now, I believe they just have a little tickle, fail it. I think Novi fails it and then he comes back and gets the second rep. Yeah, he goes again. So Novi goes again, takes that 30-second break, boom, gets the second rep. That turned out to be a really good choice actually, because look at Trey's dumbbell. Absolutely amazing. So powerful. Pavlov's dumbbell here. He has a lovely dip, to be fair. Lovely rack. It's actually, you know, someone messaged me saying Pavlov's dumbbell's terrible, it needs work. And I'm like, wow, me and you have different ideas of terrible. Because look at this one here, right? His rack, let's look at Pavlov. His rack position is through the midline of his body. Check. His dip. Look how deep it is. That's deeper than some of you little fucking weird ass strongman squat, motherfucker. That is deep. Still within his center line. The amount of drive he gets. You gotta remember, this guy's arms are 45 foot long. He's touching God's ball sack when he locks out. He's pushing that dumbbell high. What's his flaw? What could he change to get better dumbbell? He needs to learn to get under it. He needs to learn double dip. If you've got big long spaghetti arms, if you can scratch your feet while stood up straight, then you need to learn to jump underneath shit overhead. He's got too far to go. He's chucked that all the way to here, yeah? And now he's got to have the strength to press. If he just learnt to dip under it, it'd be a lot better. And he's very athletic, very explosive. He could learn that for sure. For sure. Look at Trey on his right arm now. He swapped arms. Boom, no problem. Look at Pavlov's rack again. So his rack's good. His stance is good. He adjusts his rack, make sure it's stable. His dip is deep. The dumbbell did move there though. I think he's over dipping, to be fair. That drive was good. He chucked that dumbbell high. He just needs to, honestly, he needs to learn to get under that dumbbell. You give me 2 hours of that man, showing him that, he'll get 10 key, easy. Because even, this is the beautiful thing about dumbbell, is if you just learn to jump under it a little bit, even if it's a bit shit, it'll be better than it was before. And then you can build upon that. Novi's obviously the best example of jumping underneath dumbbells. Very, very good at it. Yeah, so Trey jumps under it as well. People jump under it unique, you see. Bang, see, he jumps and he's kind of just going back to he's also going to the side like this, which is what I mean by going under it. I don't care whether you split jerk it, you power jerk it, you bend your spine to the side, you bend yourself in half. Get under it somehow. The sandbag carry we got here now. This is pretty cool, these sandbag hoop spells, aren't they? I think these might crop up a bit more because they're a bit safer, don't damage flooring, etc. I think they'd be pretty cool to have. Oh, God, Max has gone flying. Bobby Thompson, just gone. Mitch Hooper. Good run by Kev there. Amazing. Yeah, I also, Mitch Hooper's still going. Absolute savage. He won this event, didn't he? I think it was like 125 metres or something he got. Can't remember what it was. Something ridiculous though. Here's an interesting one. I said in my prediction that I think Pavlo will do well in this event. Again, you little grease bags. Pavlo won't even come top 5. He'll be lucky. He's this, he's that. Huh? Maybe, just maybe, slight chance that the man who does strongman coaching 40 hours a week for the last 6 years maybe has some idea. Maybe. Lissis here. This is interesting. I didn't notice this. I think I actually missed this run, to be fair. But look at Lissis. That motherfucker's holding it sideways. Is that a mistake? Yeah, I think it was. See, this is why I thought Pablo would do well, because I knew he was going to be able to get that grip. Like I say, he's got them two fucking long arms. He can wrap round and full grip it. Well, so is Novi, to be fair. This bag's probably a bit smaller than what I expected, but still, having long arms on this event's a huge advantage because you can get such a nice rack position. Much like the dumbbell, the Husserl carries all about the rack position. Obviously, your endurance and threshold, etc., play a key role, but yet to express your endurance and threshold, you have to have the correct rack position, or else you're never going to be able to walk very far with it. It's all about getting that rack, and I knew Pablo would have a really good rack position, so I knew he'd be able to put in a good distance. That was my theory behind it. Some arm over arm tips, all right? When you have an arm over arm in a competition, it's either going to be really light, it's going to be moderate, or it's going to be fucking heavy as fuck. There are 3 different ways to execute the arm over arm depending on the scenario that presents itself. I always advise my clients, and if you've ever done an arm over arm in a competition with me, you'll have trained this way, where I make you do light runs, moderate runs, and extremely heavy grindy runs. Why? It's all about keeping tension in that rope is the key skill. You want to reach, and your strongest arm, you want to grab the rope, and then your weakest arm, you want to go directly over the top like this, okay? The reason why you have that is you don't want to have space between your hands, because then if your weaker hand slips a little bit, it's just going to slide and it's not going to hit anything. Whereas if your hands are locked together like this, your strong hand becomes like a support for your weaker hand. And once you get that grip, you want to drive with your legs, and you want to make sure that you get as much distance out of each pull as possible. So you want to make sure you go all the way down, shoulders flat. You want to be like flat against the floor. So Lysis here, right, bang, pulls. You see his hands, they're close together, and notice that he's only going back to here. His shoulders out flat to the floor. If we go back to Mitch Hooper, you see he's pulling much longer. He's going all the way back. The problem with going all the way back in an event like this is, it takes you longer to get back up and re-grip. So if it's a light arm over arm, you need to be able to go pull, pull, reach, reach, pull, pull, and you can actually use your arms a bit more when it's a bit lighter. Grab, grab, pull, row. Right, grab, grab, pull, row, grab, grab, and it's a flow. It's more about how fast can you get back to that next pull. Whereas when it's extremely heavy, you want to get as much out of each pull as possible, because you've only got a limited amount of pulls in you, so to speak. The problem with that is, it's going to take you longer to go into the next pull. So it's going to be slower on the transitions, but you can get more out of each pull. If this was like a vehicle pull, you might blend skills. So you might start off by doing the heavy pull to get it moving, and then as it gets moving, you transition to the shorter pull. So arm over arm really is very technical, and you've got to learn which skill to apply to the event. Now, this is a hard skill to do because oftentimes you don't know until you try the equipment. You don't know. Sometimes you don't have the opportunity to try the equipment until the day, until it's go time. If you practice all these skills in training, when you start, you might realize after the first 1 or 2 pulls, you get all this feedback. As an athlete, you go, right, fuck, adjust, boom, this is how I want to do it. And then you get into your flow. So that's why it's good on arm over arm to kind of just understand there are different techniques for different weights, and the best one you're not going to know until you actually do the competition setup. This yoke to log lift, I really love this event. I think it's just class. Not going to talk too much on this one, to be honest with you, because I cover log. I cover a lot of log on this channel. But I'll tell you what we've got to watch. Good run by Bobby, by the way. This was really good. I'll tell you what we've got to watch. We have to watch this, don't we? I doubt he watches this. Maybe he does actually, he's watching other stuff. But if you do watch this, Mr. Mitchell Hooper, this was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. Fair fucking play. Look at that. Look at that, insane, mate. Insane. I got worried though, because he only just broke the line. I was like, oh, when he put it down, I was like, fuck, that was close. And he did really well here. Great thing he did here is he kept hold of the log. Clever boy, well done. Boom, easy presses. He's not worried here if his technique goes a bit to shit, he's just getting them done. Perfect, yeah, really good. That was insane. I got hyped watching that. I was at home like, oh! As soon as I seen Lys's getting knee wrapped up, did think it was a bit of a mistake. If you need knee wraps on a yoke, but you've got to do log after it, then you need to learn to wrap your knees with a quick release wrap, and it will be much better for you, because when you wrap a knee wrap, you can put the final loop so that you can just literally pull it and they'll come off. If Lysys had wrapped like that, as soon as he dropped this yoke, he could have been pulling those knee wraps off as he approaches this log, and then he wouldn't have the issue that he had, which is, well, I don't know if that was his issue for sure, but I'm assuming that his issue came from the lack of blood and the fact that his legs were probably starting to feel like, well, like he can't feel them. Did he get that second rep? Okay, he did. Got some gifts, didn't you, Martins? Got some gifts this comp. Yeah, I think by this point, he couldn't feel his legs. And judging by that, that might be what happened. Again, quick release knee wraps, Martins. Should know that with your experience. Trey, again, got to put some respect on Trey's name, and fair fucking play. This was a good yoke run as well. I think he did drop this, didn't he, actually? Just before the line. No, he didn't. Must be somebody else I'm on about. These logs were good as well, weren't they? Hard logging outside, by the way. So this log is a lot harder than what it maybe sounds. Stone over hitching post. Pavlo. I said Pavlo was going to do well on this. Oh, he saves that one. Ooh, forehead to the post. You got to do what you got to do, haven't you? Max face plant. That was amazing. If you got to headbutt the post, you got to headbutt the post. You know what I mean? It's a strongman. Put your fucking face into it. 420 pounds. The only thing I do worry about is his biceps here. This is very Snap City looking, but yeah, I'm not a fan of these type of events. You know what I mean? I'm really not. It's got to go over the post, mate, not under it. Yeah, watching this makes me cringe a little bit. I don't know why they put these events in sometimes where it's like, yeah, where it's like minimal tacky towel and an odd shaped stone. It can be a bit snappy, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. Martin's flying through these. Not sure if these are the same stones as last time or heavier. Martin's is like, no. How about no? I think this is pec. Yeah. Told you, they just look a bit snappy when you don't get tacky. You just get a tacky towel. Good man though, Martins. Good man. Mr. Hooper. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, easy. Oh, good man. Last one. Oh, amazing. Oh. Well done. Awesome. Mr. Trey. Tacky towel on hand. This man. Is he on motion wall? Fucking hell. Pfft, 'Fair play, Trey Mitchell. 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 'Fair play, Trey What an animal. Novi's hip extension, man. Fucking hell. Boom. Boom. Insane. Well done. Oh, awesome. Boom. Well done, Novi. Good man. Hey. That's what we said. That's what we went with. We said Big Novi for the win. He's a fucking animal, that man. Absolute savage competitor. Can never write Novikov out. He's an absolute machine at every single event. Always performs. Really resilient. That's one of his strengths there that a lot of strongmen suffer with, is he's the most resilient motherfucker going. Doesn't ever seem to have an injury or a niggle. Or if he does, he don't give a fuck. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Good arm over arm tips for you there, little grease bags. Make sure you subscribe if it helped you out. I'll see you next time, little cunts.